Hi there and welcome back to Pierpoint. So with this particular lure we've got that first coat of Bonder seal on it, and it's gone off really nicely, so it's nice and clear, nice and level, nice and flat, and obviously glossy. Got a good hard shell of protection on that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a second coat on, but I thought what I'd do for this video clip is actually put this Gen4Resin High Build finish on it and see what sort of results we get. So the first thing you need to do is the same as what we did before, and that's give this lure a scratch coat. So that's had first coat of Bonder seal clear lacquer. It's a lure that's straight out the box, it's never been used. Okay, and then you can just see a little bit of 1200 grade wet and dry paper. So it's just a scratch coat. If you don't do this, then the second coat obviously won't stick to it. So it's important that you do this. It does look horrible because it makes your lure look all scuffed up and scratched, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so make sure you just get a good scratch coat all the way around. You've still got these things to deal with, like the gill plate and the eyes, and because they're recessed, just need to get in there a little bit more. But there's a potential for your high build or any sort of solution that you're using to run around those areas, so just be careful when you're loading that up. So it won't take long, get this scratch coat done. Okay, you see, so you're not taking it off completely, and that's why we use a 1200 grade paper, because you're just scratching the surface. Okay, so that should be enough, and then what you need to do is give that a wipe over with a cloth. So I use a micro one here, that's pretty good at picking up all the dust, so that gets rid of all the dust particles, and it sticks to these sort of cloths anyway. That's why they're called micro cloths. Okay, get them on eBay. So that's that bit done. Now the final bit for that, of course, is just use a little bit of alcohol or meths just to go over that lure. So I'm just going to put a little dab on the end of this cloth here, and then just give that a quick wipe over just to get those last bits off and make sure we've got a really nice surface for that high build finish to go onto. Okay, let's give that a nice little wipe over. Okay, just a little wipe. And also make sure your hands are clean when you're doing this, because any oils from your hands could affect how the high build sets. Okay, you might end up with fish eyes and things like that. So there we go, give that a good old clean up, and then we're ready for the high build mix. So what I'm going to be using is this Generation 4. So we've got two parts there. You've got the hardener and you've got the resin. We sell this in smaller bottles through our website, pierpointrodbuilding.co.uk. Ideal for coating lures. And you put that equal parts, okay, into a foil dish using 2 syringes. So you get the high build finish and the syringes supplied as part of the pack. So when you're mixing this up, it's just equal parts. So the minimum that you want to mix together is 3 cc's of each, just to get it sort of activated, and you mix for 3 minutes. It's got good sort of UV and air release capability, this, so you won't find any sort of yellowing in the immediate effect with this high build. And also the bubble release technology is pretty good, so you won't find any bubbles coming out of the coating that you put on the lure. Okay, so I'm going to mix this up and do 3 of each. Okay, and then I'll show you how to set it up in your rod turner ready to go. So 2 syringes, make sure you've got one marked up for hardener. Okay, and you want to be working at room temperature on this, and my room temperature is 70 to 80 degrees. Okay, so there's the first pull, so that's 3 cc's of each. Okay, you can go 2. Okay, but we're going to go 3. Okay, so there's the first 3 going in. Okay, so that's your hardener. And then your resin. It's all easy stuff, it's fairly straightforward. Oops. There we go. It's not going for the jab, this, isn't it? Okay, and you've got 3 and that, so equal measures. Okay, and then I'm going to set my stopwatch for 3 minutes, so give that a good old mix, and then I'll come back to you when that's done. Okay, so there's our lure spinning round in the rod turners then, and we've now mixed up the high build finish. So there we go, there's the Gen4 resin. We're just about to see that Gen4 resin, so 2 equal parts, 3 cc's of each, and then we just got it in this silver foil. Okay, so what we're going to do, I've got a nice wide brush this time, so we're just going to apply that quite liberally to the lure. Okay, start at one end, and then all you need to do is just work your way along. Sometimes it's difficult to see where you've actually been. Okay, so you do need a little bit of light so you can see the areas that you've coated. Okay, so don't be too worried about putting too much on, as long as it's level. Okay, and the beauty of this stuff, of course, is that you can go over it without too much worry, because it doesn't dry that quick. You've got a good sort of 20-30 minutes pot life on this. Okay, so you can go into the eyes quite nicely, quite liberally, and around the gill plate, so that's where some of your obstructions are. Okay, so just make sure you get a good coating in there. Okay, I haven't done too many of these, so this is really just a bit of a trial just to see what happens, see how it comes out, and you want a nice sort of level glossy finish that's bubble free. Okay, and the fact that you've got it rotating as well is good, because it will just find its own level from there. Okay, and you'll get used to this after a while, knowing how much to put on. Okay, it might have helped if I'd have taken that split ring out of there, off the bottom of the lure. You just got to try and work around that. Okay, not a problem, but you know, there's a little bit of a learning point for next time. Okay, so that's all you're doing. Get a nice coat. Just get around this split ring area. Okay. Just a bit fiddly around there. Again, as I say, with this stuff, you've got a good 20-30 minutes pot life. Yeah, so we have got a little bit of a problem there. See if we can just use that just to get that off. So probably, there we go. Okay, and then maybe just finish that off. Dead easy to work with this Gen4 resin. So we sell it through our website because it's for rod building usually. I think the lure making industry is just getting into this stuff as well because it's easy to work with. Nice even coat. You don't actually need the full 3 cc's, but it makes it easier if you mix it up in those quantities. You can go down lower. I have gone down to 1 cc of each before now, and it's been absolutely fine. It might decrease your pot life because it's in such a small quantity. Okay, and then we just go right down to the tip. And there we go, so we've got a nice good coat on that, and then we'll leave that for, it's usually about 4 hours drying time with this high build finish. And you can give it a second coat, But looking at that, we've got a nice level even finish just by using a nice soft brush, taking that right the way through. So I'm looking at the eyes, so there's no runs or drips in there. Okay, there's no gaps or holes or anything like that. So we've got a nice good coat, and that's the second coat that's on top of that first coat of Bondasil clear lacquer. Okay, there we go. We'll leave that spinning for a few hours, and then I'll come back. You can put a dust cover over this, like a cardboard box or a plastic tent or something like that, just to keep the dust and the insects off. We'll leave that spinning for a few hours, and then we'll come back and we'll see how it's performing. If you did see any air bubbles in there, I mean, I can't see any because this has got good air release technology, but if you did see any air bubbles in there, then all you do is just use, I've got a little Dremel tool here, so Dremel blowtorch, and if you saw some air bubbles, then you just do that. You can use a lighter. Okay, you can use any sort of soft flaming device just to do that, just to get those surface air bubbles out. Okay, but there's none in there, but if you do, that's what you can use. Okay, thanks for watching. Catch up soon.